What is going on, Cultivate family? I hope you are all doing good wherever it is that you're listening to this from today. You might have noticed I have switched to bi-weekly episodes for Cultivate at the moment. And the reason for that is since I got back from my week off, I've been doing a bit of shuffling with my workload and my schedule. Because when I went away, I realized the last 3 months I have been working far too much between coaching and music. And I wanted to kind of catch that before it ran away with me and maybe caused me a bit of a meltdown, or the quality of my work to suffer, or, just not feeling my best brain wise. So I came back from that trip away and I sat down and I mapped out all my workload for all the work that I do with the amount of clients that I have, all my workout programming, and I realized I was trying to squash a very large amount of work into every single week the last few months, including a lot of the free content that I make, like the podcast, a lot of TikToks, and a lot of Instagrams as well. So I came to the decision to slightly reduce some of the free content I put out on Instagram and TikTok and on the podcast, and I set a bit more of a boundary with myself there, because I often feel like it's my duty to make a lot of this stuff as free and accessible as possible, and I wish it was easier. But then I also needed a bit of a reminder that I also need to make a living and live my life alongside my work. So as a result of my little reshuffle, the podcast will be going every couple of weeks instead. And that also means I can focus more on the quality of the content that goes into each episode. So that is a win-win for me and for you lot. So I hope you understand. And today I want to talk about something that's really been bothering me a lot as of the last month. And I think some of you might be able to relate to that as well. So we have a really serious body image problem in the world right now. And I think as a fitness and nutrition coach, I do definitely have a responsibility to talk about it, because I'm just seeing it getting worse and worse in real time at the moment. And I'm getting quite worried for folks' well-being and perceptions of what a healthy functioning body looks like. And as someone that was once really deep in that headspace and deeply unhappy, I know how hard this can be, and I know what a struggle it can be to have all of these thoughts swirling around your head all the time. So just to preface this one, I am a fitness and nutrition coach. I'm not a mental health specialist. So whilst I do help folk with their health and fitness, and we talk about body image in relation to that and hold space for it, often support mentally with body image is something that does need to be spoken about with a mental health professional. And sometimes the lines definitely blur. And I think often based on what the mainstream fitness industry tends to advertise, it can be quite misleading, and it can lead people to think by social media standards that fitness and nutrition can literally cure mental health issues around things like body image or body dysmorphia or even gender dysphoria for that matter. And whilst it can help, it's definitely not a cure or a fix for sure. And I've now been a coach for almost 4 years, and I've seen a considerable increase over that time in people wanting to work with me in search of finding the absolute perfect physique, particularly queer and trans folk, obviously, because that's my demographic. And I see more and more people really wanting to change very specific parts of their body and make them as lean as possible, and thinking that will help them feel happier and more confident. But as we all know, bodies can wildly differ based on genetics and environments and health and so many other factors. So often, a lot of people can't maintain the types of physiques that we're seeing online or in movies because it's not actually healthy for them. Now, to take seeing visible abs as an example, I have a lot of people that will come to me saying, I want a six pack, I want visible abs. And to have visible abs, your body fat percentage has to be so, so low. And sometimes for some people, depending on genetics and hormones, that body fat percentage to see visible abs has to be so low that they actually start to lose their health markers. And so a lot of people can lose things like their menstrual cycle, their hair, their sex drive, all sorts. But for some people, due to their genetics and their lifestyle factors, it might actually be more maintainable. So if you're currently struggling with body image and worrying about not being lean enough or wanting to feel leaner because you think it might increase your confidence, and if you feel like you're inadvertently comparing yourself to actors or influencers or people in mainstream media, I want you to think about where you're seeing these people. These are people that are financially really well off. They might exercise for a living or have a job where it's easy to get to the gym as much as they want. They may have had cosmetic surgery. They might be on steroids, enhanced. They'll be tracking every calorie, training 6 to 7 days a week, sometimes multiple sessions. And on top of that, they might also have genetics that makes it easy for them to maintain a low body weight. And then if we think about the context we're seeing these people in, for photo shoots, people will dehydrate themselves so you can see muscle more visibly. They'll use down lighting, so again, more visible muscle. There are so many tricks to make people's muscles pop. And that's not even to mention all of the things that you can do in post production to make someone look a certain way. Now, this is not me wanting to put a downer on anyone's aesthetic goals because they are super valid. I'd be lying if I didn't have them. For example, I got some video footage from being in the studio when I was recording the other month, and I noticed that my back was looking a lot thicker and more stacked, and that was a nice thing. It made me happy. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, pull-ups are making the muscles. But if there's just one tip that I can't stress enough and share with any of you today, it's that get your mental health, your food relationship, and your exercise relationship in check before you start to pursue any sort of aesthetic goals, because having that strong foundation, just like being in the gym and having your gym knowledge and your confidence to be there, having a strong foundation with your body image and your mental health for where you're at in your life right now, that's what we maybe should be prioritizing. And it's definitely not for me to say this is what you should do, but I think for the longevity of mental health and just long-term well-being, it would definitely be naive of us to think that an aesthetic goal solely could make our whole life better. One thing that really made me realize how much this was a problem was a TikTok that I posted about hip proportions in trans folk compared to cis folk, and how genetics and bone structure can prevent people from trying to disguise their hips if they cause an issue for them. And someone commented on it saying, well, what's the point? What's the point if I can't get rid of my hips? What's the point if I can't achieve that look or change this about myself, this one thing? And the emphasis is all on how people look and are perceived by others. And that has moved away from actually thinking about how people want to feel and their long-term health. And that was the thing that really worried me, because I'm seeing this more and more. People thinking they can't live their lives because they don't feel like their body is good enough. They're going to extreme measures to try and change their body as quick as possible. They're not seeing results, and then they're going to the next extreme and the next and the next. And I also worry that people are seeing others in straight size and bigger bodies being trolled online. So I'm a person in a fairly soft straight size body to mid-size perhaps. And I think people see people like me and people bigger than me getting trolled and worry that they might get treated like that in the real world, or it makes them feel like if they see a similar body type getting trolled that they should try to change because society doesn't accept that. And the difference is, in the real world, that happens way less because people aren't hiding behind a profile picture or an empty profile picture or, a troll account. And I think the last thing that I've really worried about is that there is so much misinformation out there about supplements and cosmetic procedures, hormone replacement therapy, and food and nutrition, that it's so easy for anyone to get a bit mixed up and confused and just try the thing that they see people talking about the most, in the hope that that's going to be the thing that will help them feel better about themselves. But the overall issue here that I see is, what the world thinks is the baseline for what a healthy functioning body looks like is deeply skewed, and it's getting worse. So as people that consume podcasts and content and anything online, we need to remind ourselves of that day to day because it's easy to forget. Most people cannot achieve the jacked physique that everyone praises online from movie stars or athletes because they work a 40-hour week. They get 2 days off and they maybe want to enjoy some downtime and a social life. They might have kids, they might have hobbies. And the fact that I see people beat themselves up about that is really upsetting. And I wish this wasn't the world that we live in. I have so many people come to me thinking that they have to change their entire body and physique to be accepted in their chosen gender or sexuality because of these societal pressures as well. And whilst this is all a lot, from a positive place and a positive point of view, I do see that most people that have had or do have access to therapy and mental health support, they're able to talk about body dysmorphia and body image issues and navigate that stuff a lot better. But obviously not everybody has the means to have therapy. And I think on another really positive note, I am actively seeing a lot more amazing like content creators, artists, and media personalities pushing back against the skewed body image standards. But often that's not what gets pushed to the top of our feed. We actually have to actively seek it out. This morning, a client said to me, "Oh, you shared a profile the other day and it was just an instant follow because I've never seen a man in a body like that making any content." And it's not that it's not there, it's just that it's not getting pushed to us because it's not that societal ideal of a physique. Now, I am obviously just a fitness and nutrition coach. So I don't have the answer to solving a worldwide issue that affects every single human that has an internet connection. But I do just want to use this space to remind you all that being lean and shredded at the cost of your mental health, physical health, your finances, and your social media clout will literally never be worth it. I have been a person that has hyper obsessed over everything I wanted to change about my body, never being able to quite get the image that I had in my head, no matter how lean I got or what gender affirming healthcare I got. And getting the help to address that is so crucial to how I feel about that stuff now and how I navigate it. It's a world of difference. And the answer isn't always a gym membership and tracking your calories. Sometimes the answer is mental health support if you are constantly chasing the perfect body and feeling like you're never good enough. So, just a prompt to reach out for some help with someone appropriate if you are struggling with this stuff. Because in 2024, body image standards are becoming more and more skewed, and no one deserves to struggle with this alone because I did, and it was just all consuming. So, a nice short one for you today, a bunch of stuff to think about, and I've got nothing to plug today to finish the episode. I don't feel like plugging my coaching is a solution to this issue, but I did just want to talk about it. And I hope some of you relate, and I hope this is helpful in any capacity, because I'm sure I'm not the only person that feels like this as someone that works in this industry as well. So, wishing you all a lovely rest of your week, and I'll be back in a couple of weeks with another episode of the podcast. Take it easy, Cultivate family, and that is me out. Bye.